No.
Both
Ah.
both players this time actually changing up their ban strategy. Um,
Both teams, you mean?
yeah, both teams changing up their ban strategy. CPV2 is going to be banning the forest this time. So not only we
Makes
don't get to see
sense.
forest this game, we also don't get to see the mirror.
Makes sense. I mean, okay, they are playing for money. They're not doing what the people want them to do. They're doing what they need to do to win. So it makes sense. Which is a shame. What a shame.
I would have loved to see another sword mirror, man.
That would make my dreams.
So both teams know they can start. So I believe they're just discussing which deck do we want to lead on. So if what would you want to lead on here? I'm
Ginger.
that's
I'm thinking ginger.
that's also what I'm thinking. I'm thinking if you're VT, you want to lead on the ginger, and I think you want to lead on the sword if you're Disastra.
Do you think the sword is stronger than Portalcraft? We saw Downbreakers beat Ginger with Portalcraft.
Oh, they did lead on the portal. I think were we both wrong?
No, I was thinking Portal for Disastra. Uh,
And you thought
but
they would lead on
maybe,
Haven too, or on Ginger rather. So we were both wrong.
yeah, yeah, maybe CPV. Maybe CPV thought. No, I was thinking Disaster doesn't have Ginger. I was thinking Disaster would lead with Portal because they were expecting Ginger, but maybe CPV thought that they would lead with Portal, so they decided to go with Haven. You never know unless you ask them.
All right. So what do you do here? I think you keep the Deus Ex, right? I think you also don't want to keep the Summit Temple.
I think you throw away. It depends on if you go first or second, but you might throw away the Miriam.
If you're going, I forget which it is. I think if you're going second, right? The Miriam is really good.
Yes. If you go second, you're able to get the Miriam to basically get you an artifact, or if you get meta production, you can actually pull the artifact immediately. Oh wow.
And that's a lot of Miriams.
Three Miriams is actually good because you can put artifacts and then pull them immediately, I think. But I think he's gonna go for the Iron Staff instead.
I like playing the Mariah here because when you're on the play, um, you can be a little bit more lenient with how you play your Carapace because you can just evolve it later. You can evolve on turn 5 and just have it pop. So I think we're going to see the Snow White here. Snow White, and then next turn, double Carapace.
It's very strong turn. Also, it's when your Moria is gonna pop.
You're
Very
guaranteed.
well.
You're guaranteed to have a full clear next turn. If you win the roll on the Moriai too, you actually get a full clear and get to keep a 2/2 up.
Yeah, it's a wet on white not trading there. You're allowing for double gemstone. But if you traded, you would lose your 2/3. But this is just gonna be a lot of trouble to deal with.
Yeah, this is a very strong curve. I imagine you just slam this double gemstone, and then next turn, you probably just play the Serenian Hind, and you can put it in light mode, and then you can just evolve it. It pops all the gemstones, and it also heal itself every turn.
You can't get it in light mode because you only have one amulet.
If
Because
you
gemstones will pop.
the gemstones will pop if you put it in dark mode. If you put it in light
No, no,
mode,
no, no.
oh,
Your gemstones will pop after the Snow White evolves. and your next turn. So you play the gemstones. You play attack unless you purposefully play the gemstones after trading,
Which
so that
isn't.
it pops.
I don't think that's an unreasonable play here.
But I think you'd rather have the 3/5 turtles rather than. I guess it's the same thing. Maybe you can even evolve the normal Serenian. Isn't that maybe worth it too? To get a summit sample, perhaps, or
Yeah, you
other,
might be
or
right.
tea time.
There's so many decisions to be made here.
That's why they're taking their time. It seemed obvious at first that it's just gemstone trade, but now they're like, that's how that's the choose mechanic. Like the choose mechanic just gives this depth to the game that we're not used to yet.
Especially
And I
since Serenian Hind almost has three chooses. Because the first mode, the regular mode, where
it is.
Mhm. Prime
You're
Artifact.
saying the regular mode?
The regular mode is like its own form because it does draw you cards if you need card advantage. The light form will heal itself, help you get board control, and the dark form will help you like blow your opponent out with some crazy tempo plays.
And it still hasn't been completely fleshed out, the choose mechanic. I mean, we have obviously have the best players working on it, but at the end of the season, we might see like choose take a whole new level, take the game to another level, I guess.
I really like their decision, by the way, to play one gemstone, trade with the Snow White, and then play the other one. Because what that lets them do is they can still play the Hinds in dark mode or light mode, and they don't have to evolve it to have at least one of the turtles up.
Flexibility, yeah. This doesn't force you if you play two without enhancing one, you would be almost forced to play the dark Serenian. And this way just gives you flexibility. You don't need to go for that. But this does give a tell to Disastra, and I'm sure they'll pick on it that they have a Serenian.
This is a lot of cards to be drawing this turn. I'm getting a pretty reasonable board while drawing two cards. Not bad at all. I think we're going to see the Dark Hind mode, or not Dark Hind, Light Hind mode this time. You can Light Hind, and then you can also trade the Light Hind into the 4/2, and you can evolve your turtle over the 2/1, and then you have two turtles. One of them is quite big, and you also have the Hind just threatening to heal every turn. Very dangerous board.
By the way, Light Hind, it's so beautiful.
Yeah,
When I was creating this card on Cockatrice, I didn't think it would be played this much, but just seeing it on play is just quite beautiful.
when this card first got spoiled, I remember reading it, thinking to myself, this does a lot of things, and I don't know if it's good or not. But it just ends up being true in card games. When your cards do a lot of things and they're flexible, they're usually good.
Especially when the effects are so different, allow you to go for two complete different game plans. Tempo and value, like the constant healing machine with rush is just value 2 for 1, right? While the black one is just a threat. It just blows your amulets and allows you for. And we haven't even tried them all, but there's possibilities with holy flames and holy beasts and all those shenanigans where you can basically play lion Naven again.
There's also
I've seen it.
Mhm.
I've seen double dragon done to me. You know the holy wing
Yeah,
roar.
I was actually just about to say, yeah, that's a card that actually sees some play. Every now and then people play is it called like featherworm dragon?
Feather. I thought it was holy wing.
You might be
No,
right.
holy wings is the other one, I think.
It's all I know is it's like a 2 play point or a 3 play point amulet, and it summons a 6/6 dragon after a few turns. And this is a pretty good cudgel, even though it's not a
It's
real cudgel.
yeah. The dragon is called holy wing dragon, but the card is actually called Featherwing's Descent.
Okay.
Featherworm's Descent.
So I had the two names confused. The two names like combined.
I had the dragon one correct, but I had the card one wrong.
So there are two Jeans here. This is a very strong hand, I think.
There's also puts a lot of pressure on the Deus Ex. They're basically forced to play the Deus Ex, but CPV played very well. Pressured it a lot. That's where you want to be.
And no Acceleradium, and I think no Acceleradium and no artifacts to go along with it either. And I think that's really what you were digging for there. I imagine we're going to see a Black Inscripture and a Priest of the Cudgel for tempo here.
Or a Serenian. If you want to go full tempo, Serenian has an extra health than Priest of the Cudgel,
Yeah, but
which
then
might
you.
be important. She can also
Mhm.
draw your Summit Temple.
Yeah, you can. My only issue with playing the Hind here is, oh wow, so they're just going with this one. They want to heal up the priest.
Priest. Judge.
Judge. I knew it wasn't a priest when I said it, but I couldn't. The word wasn't coming to me.
Retribution. Is there any way to kill that judge? I don't think so.
Mm,
They can draw
they need
maybe two ancient artifacts.
they need an Acceleradium here. They need an Acceleradium in a whole lot of ways to clear the board.
They can cannoneer.
Cannoneer can go into.
Yeah, they got the ancient artifact. They can biofab it, but they don't have a ways to draw them.
They do have the Mystic artifact.
Oh, they're gonna get a Krabi, but they don't have enough play points. But it doesn't have rush too. That was the wrong order.
Mm,
They would have been able to Amlin that ancient artifact if they played the if they drew first.
so what do you do here? All right, that does clear, but that Black Inscripture is going to be lights out.
Mhm.
Yo, man, CPV2. I'm telling you, they have mastered the art of coming back from the losers bracket.
They are in it to win it. They're actually ahead for the first time in the series. They're 1-0. This is tournament point for CPV. Disaster had 2 tournament points. Now they have a set point. Not a set point. They had 2 tournament points. Now they're faced against a tournament point, and it's Ginger Rune. It's gonna be scary playing that sword deck into that. I think they wanted the matchup of Portal versus Ginger Rune and Sword versus Avon. I think that's what they would go for.
So at this point, you have to win with both decks. So one school of thought is just queue up the deck that you just lost with. The other school of thought is just switch decks, get rid of whatever bad mojo you had with that last deck, win with the second deck, and then go back to the first deck.
Yeah, I like going with the highest percentage win rate against the deck that my opponent has left, just to get me that confidence boost. If I win, it's 1-1. I can still make it. Others think I have to win with my unfavored deck, so might as well try it first and then just go with it.
All right, they're probably getting up, stretching a little bit. This is it. They know this is it. They have to just be mentally prepared. That's what they're probably doing for themselves right now.
Also, deciding if they want to go first or second, this is a big decision for them, considering it's maybe the last game.
This is something that I would really like to see as well become adopted by the Shadowverse Open, is letting the players decide who goes first and second. Because I think that does add an extra layer of thought to how you play. And then it also reduces
It's
the chance of you just going, I went second all 3 games, or I went first all 3 games, and I didn't want that.
Yeah, it's not a coincidence that series are going as 2-1s a lot of the time in this tournament because they have that choice.
All right, so Star Reader Stella, pretty solid card to have on turn 2, but You're playing against Sword, and Sword might have a Bladed Hedgehog, so do you think they're going to keep that Star Reader Stella?
What other plays do you have in your deck for 2? That's the thing.
Which is
It's
sweets.
you rather have, yeah, you rather have something to contest their, because you also have to think about the the bear. I was forgetting the name.
Bear Knight.
Holy
Holy
Bear
Bear
Knight.
Knight.
Thank you.
Oh.
You also have to think about that. They're throwing away chromatic again. They really don't want to be using it.
Yeah, I think they're just on the we want to use Chromatic on turn 6 play plan.
Yeah.
And there it is. There's the Bladed Hedgehog. And the Witch of Sweets is actually kind of awkward because you don't have... It's not activated.
Nope. In fact, the only neutral card you have is Zeus.
Yeah, this is... What do you do here? Do you just bite the bullet and play the Witch of Sweets as a 2-2? Or do you bite the bullet and play the Star Reader Stella?
You are it's very unlikely that you will get Witch of Sweets activated next turn as well. Or it'll take them like 2 turns to get it activated. Consider maybe they'll play the Masirian Grimoire. But Star Reader is just too risky. That hedgehog could grow very big.
Yeah, I think the Witch of Sweets is probably a bit safer here. Is there... Can Star Reader Stella grab you a rune card, or does it only grab you cards from other classes?
No, they're all from other classes. It's a Phoenix, it's Pollux, it's the Scorpius, and Andromeda, and Gaster. Yeah, it's basically a card for every class except neutral.
And Portal.
And Portal.
Portal
Oh, they need to update that one. What card would you give
Prime Artifact
if you were designing? Oh my god! not even put in deck. Just put it in your hand. Prime Artifact. Wow.
Didn't even have to think about that one.
Speaking of thinking about that one, look at this. We're thinking about this one.
Yeah, I think you just end up playing the Valse. So, but the consideration here is, do I want to go face or do I want to trade here? And I think you want to. Okay, no, he just wants to go clear this.
I want to grow the Hedgehog too.
I didn't even realize that there was a Lancer in their hand.
Yeah, because Valse on 4 going first is very good as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, after seeing that there's
Hedgehog.
a Lancer there, I definitely agree with that play.
This is definitely a Mysterian. Your hand is so bad for neutrals. Oh my god, where are the neutrals?
Dude, this is going to the last. This game might be going to the last round.
Yeah. Yeah, they really like that looks on 4.
Mm-hmm.
I respect it.
Grabs the Arthur. That's definitely what you're looking for. Airship is good, but Arthur's probably a bit better, I think.
Follow with the Gawain.
So do you trade with your Hedgehog
first?
It's a hard choice, right?
You know they are going to evolve this turn. Can you be blown out by their evolve? It plays around Shining Bellringer.
Trading actually plays into Shining Bellringer.
Yeah. So face is probably better.
Trading does grow the Hedgehog, so you get a little bit more damage on the Bellringer. I don't know if that's relevant. Wait, so yeah, you'll be able to Fatal Spellbomb the Shining Bellringer if you want to go that line.
They're definitely taking their time because they slammed that looks. Now they're thinking about it.
Secretly, both players, I was gonna say they fell asleep in the middle of the turn.
Yeah, we are like, oh, they're thinking a lot about this turn. And it's just like, nah, we're just grabbing snacks, grabbing a cup of water.
They're actually
this turn is easy.
They're just unconscious, face on the keyboard. I want to see the Shining Bellringer Angel evolved. I want to see it so bad. I don't know if that's actually what we're going to see, though. because you actually overdraw a card if you do play that.
A lot. You also want the Felice. So maybe this is the Starry Stella turn. Yeah, there we go.
So they're going to be evolving something this turn. I really think
Yeah,
I would have preferred to
you gotta
see.
you gotta kill the hedgehog.
Yeah, I think I would have preferred to see the. Well, actually, no. Since they both end up having 1 HP, I guess it doesn't really matter too much. I was gonna say I'd rather have seen the Happy Pig there, but you wouldn't have drawn a card off your Witch's Suites if you had done that.
You also want you want to throw away the Runecraft card rather than the neutral one for the Felice.
Mm-hmm. These guys are definitely better at playing this deck than I am. I can tell you that much.
I mean, to be fair, I have not even tried this deck, but I played a lot of the old neutral rune decks, so I'm kind of used to that Felice mechanic and prioritizing playing
I,
Runecraft cards.
I played Neutral Rune when they were going down the chain, just nerfing all the other neutral decks.
Yes, that's when he popped up. Was when neutral blood was nerfed. It was neutral rune. Then neutral rune was nerfed. Then it was neutral Haven.
So I think you can go Felice, and the question is, do you want to evolve the Felice face?
I think you have I think you have the slower deck of both. You have the Ginger, you have
Mm-hmm.
the Illusionist, you have the Zeus, you have the Israfils. I think you can. This is different. The other game you had Abomination, right? So you actually managed to get two big bodies against Avon, and we talked about it a lot tonight. That Avon doesn't have an easy way to deal with big bodies.
Yeah, because a 4/7 and a okay, they are evolving phase. So they're trying to turn the tempo. They're trying to become the aggressor here and make Sword play defensively. Because I was saying earlier, Sword might come out the gates fast, but it's low key a control deck, and I think they're trying to become the aggressor here.
Definitely thought about that.
Because without a Kahulin, how do you deal with this? You can slam your
But
Arthur.
that was very risky because Kuhulin and Voss, but Voss cost an Evo though.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind if I'm the rune here. I would not at all
Yeah,
mind if they Valse my thing.
I think Arthur is the play they're going for. Yep, they were just deciding if they were going to Chromatic instead with maybe Celia, but that just doesn't seem as good.
Yeah, they just don't want to give up that information. So how big is this Felice? There's 4 cards right now. So there's no way for them to clear off that Arthur. But there is a way for them to clear off the Holy Bear Knight and evolve face again. I don't
They
know if
can
that's
also
Mhm.
Pollux to kill the Arthur if they so
Ooh,
desire,
I like that one.
or to go face.
Or Hector. They can go Hector into the Bear Knight. They can evolve their Hector over the Arthur. And they can clear off that Hedgehog. And they have pretty good control of the board at that point.
See, but this is where it gets weird. When you evolve face that turn, now you're committing your last evil point this turn if you go for that line.
You have a pseudo evolve point with your Pollux, right? And you also have your Illusionist, which has Rush and can also protect you and also trade into something.
This is tough. This is a tournament point.
Mm-hmm.
Every decision can be the difference between first place or second place.
What would you do here if you were the Rune?
I would go for Pollux because it's a good opportunity to play
So
that evolve effect.
okay, they're going with
Keep my
Pollux.
actor. Actor is more flexible for face damage as we saw the other game.
Mm-hmm.
It's also a ward that could be relevant later on.
Yeah, the Hector clears off more things that turn, but it doesn't leave you with an Evo. is the
And it
issue.
got easy. Exactly. Yeah.
And in these long matchups, you usually want to be the last person to use an Evo. You want to be reactive with your Evos rather than proactive.
Yeah, I think this is the moment turn. Get that board wide, get that hedgehog bigger.
So one thing about this matchup is Sword really doesn't have many ways to deal with a full-on Ginger board. And right now, there's actually not too many cards to get that full-on Ginger board. There's only the Zeus so far. They're still digging for more Gingers and for more Israfils and more Zeuses.
Yep. So this is go wide. Interesting. They chose the Black Queen instead.
I was
What do you
thinking...
think? What are they thinking? Hector, perhaps?
No, they're
And
thinking...
Felice?
They're trying to play around Abomination Awakened here.
Too. There's also a lot of other options. Felice, as we see, Hector, as we see too.
Mm-hmm.
This is a good illusionist, though. It's gonna be a really good illusionist.
It's going to grab back a Felice, right?
Or Pollux, which are both sufficient. But you definitely want to make sure you kill that hedgehog first.
So one of the reasons I kind of like playing the Hector last turn is because if you did go that line, when you're playing this, you would have had a higher chance to get a ward back this turn.
Do you evolve? Yeah, I was gonna ask. Do you evolve the Epic Pig because you want to get that extra health, or do you just go for the stats?
I think the extra
I
health
like
is pretty
this.
important here.
Also, stat distribution for Kuhulan.
Pretty good Lancer, the Tempest here. Do you think they just go for the Lancer here, or they want to go for a more tempo play?
I think I like Voss and Luminous Mage more.
The more time you give your opponent as the sword here, the more likely they are to just wall you out of the game with their Gingers. And at this point, there are 2 Zeuses now, and 2 Zeuses just alone are very big.
Yeah, and that Voss is gonna be very strong. They could also go for the Pure Bomb instead, and just straight at Celia. Thinking about the Ginger possibly, but I don't think. I think you want a tempo against Ginger. I think you want a big board rather than just being reactive. You don't want to react to a Ginger. You want to be proactive against it.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if this Felice was enhanced like back then. So it's probably gonna go for. Do you go for the Hector or the Felice? Felice has more health.
Felice doesn't have ward though. I think right now you're trying to buy time until you find your Ginger.
Yeah, Sky Fortress is also very scary. It's just still scary because it still can kill the Hector. That's how insane that card is. Sometimes I even forget it has Rush atop of it all.
I don't know how you could possibly forget that card has Rush. That's why I play that card, man. Clears out big things.
Not when I'm playing, but when I'm looking at it being played against me, sometimes I'm like, it's not as bad. It's not that bad. And then I'm like, oh.
Oops.
5-6 Rush. Okay.
So I got a question for you. Is the airship stronger than Fangblade Slayer?
Yes. By far.
By far. I don't think
yes.
I don't think you're wrong with that. I think I have to agree with you. But Fangblade is a strong card too, because that card would just push through big boards.
Airship, at least in this meta, airship, because everything is mid-sized. There's no big bodies. Airship is like Leonidas, not Leonidas. It's like Walfried and Fangblade had a son.
Mm-hmm. It's like 2 cards combined into 1.
Get it? Because she deals 3. The fortress gets you 3 extra damage, or I guess 4 actually, right? It's a +3 +4 or +4 +3. Forgot. But yeah, it gets you 3 damage. It gets you a kill, like Fangblade, and it also buffs him and gives ward to a follower. So it's kind of like Walfried and Fangblade together.
I think this turn, I would have rathered to have seen the Lancer of the Tempest to trade into and to clear the Grimoire and the Hector, and then just go ahead and play the Bear Knight. I think you would have a slightly smaller board, but you would have pushed a little bit more face damage this turn.
They want to pure bomb the possible Zeus that they will have to play against.
Mm-hmm.
But no ginger. How many gingers do they run? 3? It's very surprising to not draw it.
I actually don't know. Let me check.
Ginger would just be...
Lights out here, I think.
Yes, because there's no way they can kill 2 Suzus, I think.
There are 3 gingers in this list.
Wow.
Isn't it crazy how many cards the Rune has drawn this game, and yet they're somehow at the same amount of cards as Sword has drawn?
Wow. Oh, wait.
Because of Arthur.
Yeah, and Lux. They also played Lux on 4.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Arthur, when you think about it, it's just draw 4. It's even better than draw 4. Put him in play, and it's your 2 drops too, which you don't want to draw.
So is there a lethal setup here? Yes, there is. You can go Pure Bomb. Yep.
Yep.
See it.
Celia.
Celebrate the beginning of the end. And this really is the beginning of the end, because after this game, we have the tournament match. This is the last round in the reverse sweep. Whoever gets it, gets it.
And it's gonna be a long one, because it's Ginger Rune versus Portalcraft.
Oh, last time I
Unless
saw this
Ginger-
one, pretty long.
Unless we get Ginger with that Felice curve or Abomination curve, it's gonna take a while.
I think we're going to see the Ginger curve this time. I think we're just going to get there, and the Ginger's going to be lights out. The reason I say that is because we've gone 2 games where the Ginger wasn't lights out. And I know that's not the best reasoning, but that's the reasoning I'm going with.
Wonder what... Oh, yeah, they're thinking about if they go first or second. I mean, you don't want to mess up that decision, right? You've made it this far. You've got to the grand finals. You reset the bracket.
Yep.
You definitely do not want to mess up first or second.
This is not the time to make a mistake like that.
Man, I'm still thinking about that sword game. God damn it. That sword mirror. Oh my god.
I'm so sad we're not going to get... That's not the last round. The last match of this set.
Can you imagine the highlight of the tournament being actually the side of the whole grand finals? Wow.
The matchup, I'm sure a lot of Twitch chat didn't even want to see with the sword mirror. I bet Twitch chat's like, I don't want to see sword anymore. We've seen this so many times, but man, that's...
How's the game?
I think Twitch chat now understands that was a fun match.
Now they understand why we are all so hyped about the sword mirrors. And the shadow mirrors. They're also fun, by the way.
Yeah, those long trade intensive matchups usually involve the most decisions to be made.
Yes. They also have the more mistakes, which is fun to see. Sometimes people make mistakes.
And then they have to figure out how they come back from the mistakes they made.
Because if you have a game that has like 100 decisions, and if you have a game that has like 20, the highest mistakes will be made on the 100 decisions game.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, just seeing a game with 100 decisions being all correct, that's just...
It's not easy.
That's a rarity. That's like watching... It's like watching a one of a kind, one in your lifetime event, basically. This hand, okay, it just got better now. They chose to go first, which is interesting, considering they had the Abomination deck. But they really don't want to be blown out by Portal. Portal nowadays has options to go with 3 followers on turn 3. You just slam Miriam and then not analyzing artifact, and you're really far behind.
This is a pretty strong curve right now for the rune, for the Ginger rune, since they do have this
Both
Abomination
players.
Awakens.
Yeah. Both players have a really strong hand, and followed up by Shining Bellringer to protect the Abomination.
Protect the Abomination, and if they remove it, that's gonna trigger the abomination too. So I think if you're Portal, you're really digging for a substitution and you don't even know it.
I like that too. That too going to face. I think Portal will also go face.
I think they have to trade
Oh, okay.
into the Stella here. Yeah. If you don't trade
Yeah,
into that
she's
Stella every turn,
yeah,
it's gonna generate more and more value.
more value. Castor is also nice, but I think just the Bellbringer is just perfect.
Yeah, they remove this Bellringer, they go to 8 cards, and then they draw for their turn and they AoE the board.
We saw turns being passed before. Will we see a turn being passed without evolving?
Um, Without
Well, not
evolving,
passed, but not evolving and not trading. I think so. I don't think so. I'm like 100% sure you're not gonna trade into
yeah,
that.
I don't think you can risk attacking into this Bellringer right now. But the thing is, this is so awkward because now that that Bellringer's there, how do you ever deal with this abomination?
Oh, I'm just gonna say they casually got a Venus, by the way, which just synergizes very well with their deck.
Oh yeah.
Unless it just occupies a board slot for the Ginger. But yeah,
Yeah, it will take up more board space, but it will help them get through
there
their
we
deck
go.
faster.
That's what I was thinking. And this just gives them opportunities to to slow the game down to a point where they can awaken Abomination without even suiciding the Bellbringer.
So Felice can clear this. You can Felice and it'll do 3 damage, and if you want, you can evolve. I don't think you're pressured enough to evolve here, though.
It doesn't accomplish much. You're gaining +1/+1. You
And,
can't even use the Storm for face.
and by removing the 2/3, by spending your evolve to remove the 2/3, you're making the abomination a little bit worse.
Mm. Do you trade with the Bellbringer?
I
I don't
think
think so.
you
I
you think
want
you want to keep it healthy?
yes because I, if your opponent has substitution, you wanted to
Mm-hmm.
use their attack into it.
So
But you do know that they don't have substitution as of now.
if your concern is
Yeah.
substitution, I think you're supposed to evolve the Felice, right?
No, no, no. You're not worried about that. You just don't want them to substitution and attack your Felice and damage your Felice somehow. You want that 2/3 to have to commit to an attack and then substitution and then get even more damage to kill the Felice, which is not likely. Because had you traded, if they had substitution, they could have used the 2/3 to get the Felice down to 3/4, and then your 2 drops can kill the Felice.
As long as the rune just keeps playing 1 card a turn, the portal can't attack into this Bellringer Angel. They can't break it because they're just gonna immediately
Get
activate the
punched for
abomination.
6.
Yeah,
They needed the Dimensional Rift or Otherworld. I
they
don't know the name of that.
Otherworld Rift. They need some sort of banish
Otherworld.
effect here.
They're looking for it. Nope, that's not it. So I guess we still pass. Play the Analyzing, or maybe the Amlin, and pass.
You're really between a rock and a hard place here.
Yep.
Okay, but hold on. So what they can do is, depending on what happens here, depending on what happens this turn, they can trade into the Bellringer.
Such a weird game.
Yeah, this is crazy. I think the rune is significantly ahead here, though. I don't know what you think.
I think so. Until they have a way to deal with that 6/6, Room is always ahead. The pressure is just on their side. What if they had evolved Bellringer just to get that, just to make it a threat, but still not a threat, like 2 damage, still so far away from killing him?
So what do you do here? You can play the Stella, and you can play your Pure-Hearted Singer. But if you activate the Abomination yourself, you sort of take away the threat of what that Bellringer is.
I like Venus just because it's the bigger body.
You can
You want to finally start putting pressure, force your opponent to actually kill that ward. Yeah.
and the Venus also replaces itself, so if they don't remove this Bellringer, all you have to do is play something that'll draw you 2 cards next turn.
And I think now you evolve because it's the Deus Ex turn. You evolve the Venus. It's the Deus Ex turn. If they play with Deus Ex, they can't deal with a 6/7 or 6/5 rather, or Felice. They can't do anything because they haven't attacked the ward yet. And if they attack the ward,
That evolve actually. Okay, so they don't evolve, but if they evolve that and they played the
that would
Deus
be
Ex,
game winning.
yeah, you actually
To
just
me,
set up
that would be
lethal
game
next.
winning.
You actually set up
Yes.
lethal next turn because you have the Hector for 3 face damage too. So that's 3
Yes.
plus 3 from the Felice is 6.
You
Plus 12
basically
is 18.
You would basically stop the Deus Ex. This is awful because now they can just kill the Bellringer and they have access to kill your 4/5. Yeah, they'll awake
the moment they kill the
Abomination,
Bellringer,
but-
though, the moment they kill the
Yeah.
Bellringer, it activates and wipes their board.
Or even worse, they can play Deus Ex and pass. Again, you're not pushing face damage. Your opponent is not going to trade. Oh, you chose to trade. Okay, right? Doesn't that make
Wait.
sense? Like,
Why didn't
They
that
could-
activate?
oh, it's on your turn.
Huh. I always thought that was just if it activated.
No, it's on your turn.
Huh.
This makes sense. This is why I don't like not evolving the Venus there.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh, I lost the Ginger.
Oh wow. This game just swung really hard in Disastra's favor, I think.
Yeah, this game has become complicated now. Which? Yep. Hector
Hector's pretty
Oh.
good here.
finally evolving now?
I hope so.
Maybe not. We chose not to evolve when pressure was on our side. We allowed Deus Ex to evolve.
I want to clean this board up. I want to get all the stuff off the board.
I want to go face. They have Deus Ex online. I don't want them to get enough time to get acceleration too.
So you wouldn't want to trade your Felice into one of these 2-powered followers? Push 4 to
No.
face? You want to put all 7 to face?
Yes.
They disagree with
I
you.
wanted to push 7 to face the previous turn when they played Deus Ex.
Mhm.
Then I would push 7 more again.
There's an Acceleratium, but there aren't any artifacts.
There's Miriam.
There's Miriam and there's Biofabrication, but it's not really enough, I don't think.
And Fervent.
All right,
Yeah,
here
they're
we go.
gonna be able to do a lot.
They're gonna rip like 6 analyzings off of this, analyzing to analyzing to analyzing, and wipe the entire board.
If they need. Actually, they misplayed. They could have gotten an extra artifact. If they play the Fervent Machine Soldier first, they would have been able to get enough play points to play Diablotine, I think. I would have to check again because it's very late.
I don't know. I'm gonna assume that there wasn't a way to do that way, but you might be right.
Because if you play the artifact,
Because I still think you end up regenerating the same amount of play points that turn, right?
yeah. No, you're right. Oh, but they play the Majesty. No, because they play the Majesty Lion. They could have done the other way around to get an extra artifact and then play the Majesty at the end. That would, although, decrease the amount of good artifacts, I guess. But I think he only had good artifacts. They only had good artifacts.
So right now, if you were to just commit this Hector to the face, and you were to push all the damage you have face, you, plus assuming you evolve your Israfil, and then assuming you grab your Israfil off of your Illusionist, you're only 1 damage off lethal.
No, I like this. Like against Portal, especially when they have acceleration, your game plan is basically face. That's your game plan.
You can't have the board after they have the acceleration.
It's like do as much damage as you can. Yet another reason why I would have liked to evolve the Venus on the Deus Ex. I think that was actually a very big misplay at this point. You just needed to stop that Deus Ex.
Yeah, I think
They might
ended
have
up-
actually been desperate enough to even play it then. Even if you did evolve the Venus, I think they would have done that.
Yeah, I think the game would have been closed out by now if they had done that.
Especially because I don't know if you remember, but
Mhm.
by not evolving the Venus and killing the 2/3, you allowed your opponent to deal with a Shining Bellringer Angel and still kill your Abomination.
Yeah. Disaster did a good job at giving themselves a route to victory here. I'm still not sure who's going to have this game. Is there a full clear here? There is the... Yeah, there's a full clear here.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, definitely. Because they still have a Krabi and Miriam's.
They still haven't evolved, too. They don't even have to use that.
Oh, they didn't play the Miriam's.
Alright, so what's all the ways you can find 1 point of damage to face here?
Ector, third one. Zeus. Zeus was just ended, actually. Oh, there we go.
Another illusionist? Okay. So now all you have to do is just evolve the Israfil face here.
And that's game.
Yeah.
Because you don't. Portal doesn't have enough damage.
Yeah, they don't have enough reach to get this one.
Saphir is only on 10. Probably not big enough as well.
Who needs that Grimoire when you have lethal next turn?
So that would be the conclusion. The CPV made it. No. NA. No.
Dude, I'm telling you, these guys have mastered the art of winning from the losers bracket.
And winning HSK, I guess. Just winning HSK.
These guys are insane. See, Laj and V2 cannot be stopped, I swear.
610. No, that's not enough.
Well, who was it in Twitch chat that gave the Kappas and said that they thought CPV2 was going to win? Because whoever that was in Twitch chat, send me a DM. The first person to send me that DM wins that pack.
It was two players. I guess two viewers. It was Matt Brax. No,
Metabrax, I think, was one of them. Yeah, I don't remember which side he voted for, though.
and Kurumi was. I think he voted for you.
So it was Metabrax who voted for North America?
Maybe.
All right.
Actually, we can scroll up. I think.
I can't scroll.